Okay, good afternoon. So I know we're tired. It's been a long day, lots of information. So I'm going to try to be as light as possible. And by the way, I only have 15 minutes, so I will go over the topics pretty fast. But if there's any topic in particular you want to learn more about, reach out to me. I have lots of content, and I'm also quite passionate about this topic. So, how many of you here today are currently managing multilingual content? Can I see some hands? Okay, amazing. So, today we've heard a lot about AI and GEO and SEO, and now we're going to see how multilingual content fits into this conversation. All right, so to start, I want to share something I recently came across with. So, screenshot is recreated, but this is how an actual product listing was showing on a major retail platform. We have skiing jacket for women. The correct version should have been leather jacket from women. Now, technically, it's not wrong. Leather does come from skin. Sorry, yeah. But at least to a native speaker, this sounds off. Something more in these lines. And this is live. It's live on a platform that generates billions in global sales. So, does this cost you sale? Does this affect your traffic? If we're the cheapest option out there, maybe not. Price does cover a lot. But if you're competing on brand reputation, on quality, this signals distance. It signals that you don't really care about this market. And if the local competitors sound native and you sound like a bot, that's a competitive disadvantage. So the question here really isn't, is this translation wrong or not? But it's, what standard are you willing to accept? Because the AI will scale whatever standard you set. Now, before we continue talking about this topic, I want to just make sure we're aligned on what localization is, because many times it's seen as just, like the linguistic, converting language from English to German. And localization is actually much more than that. It involves taking cultural aspect into account and traditional aspect, user experience and behavior, which varies from market to market, legal and regulatory aspects, and also local visibility. And AI is doing an amazing job supporting each of these layers, but it can't own any of them because each one requires judgment, requires context, requires making decisions that only humans can make. So, when is AI enough and when isn't it, right? To answer this question, I want to share another example from actually a story. So, last year I was in Bulgaria. First day there, I arrived, I was hungry, and I opened Glovo, the food ordering app, and everything was in Bulgarian. I speak English, I speak Spanish, a little bit of Italian, zero Bulgarian. And I'm also vegetarian, so I could just like look at the pictures and kind of figure out what looks best. So I'm there scrolling and I'm about to just close the app and go outside to buy when I saw it, the machine translation button. Suddenly everything was in English. I could navigate and it was not perfect. I remember that the word vegetables was translated as plant, which is not ideal, but like it was okay. So I ordered, food arrived, Sylvie was happy. And that's when it hit me. Without that imperfect translation, Glovo would have lost a client. But with it, they made a sale. According to research, approximately 65% of shoppers prefer content in their own language, even if it's of poor quality, even if it's imperfect. So perfection wasn't really the point. Access was. But now, When is good enough not good enough, right? Because the global example worked because in that context, it was fine. But what about when we're talking about a page that represents your brand or a financial product or a legal page? When an error can damage your brand, can damage your reputation. Quick example. The word fair in English can mean different things based on the context. It can refer to something that is just. It can refer to something that's acceptable. It can refer to a festival or also to a light skin tone. In this example, I will show you in a moment of a hair laser machine. The word fair, which was used to refer to a skin tone, was translated as aceptable, acceptable. Not only is this wrong and offensive, but it reinforces harmful ideas. Another example. Last year, YouTube launched a feature which automatically dubbed all of the video's voices and translated titles and descriptions into whatever language you had set in your YouTube. And it was really difficult to turn off that feature. This video is called Mundial de Facturas, ¿Cuál es la más rica? And it's a video about tasting pastries. The correct translation should have been World Cup of Croissants, or something like this, which is the tastiest. But the AI gave us World of Invoices, which is the richest. Because the word facturas and rica can mean several things based on the context. And what happened was that users felt frustrated, creators felt misrepresented, and YouTube risked losing trust at scale. So, how do you decide? How do you decide where to use AI? Something you can do is implement a content tiering framework. This framework basically proposes that not all of your content has the same importance. Not all of your content has the same risk. So something you can do is you can filter your content based on different criteria that you will have to set. For example, tier number 1, you can leave it for your high risk, high visibility content. For this kind of content, maybe you can use the AI to produce the first draft, but then you have a human own the output because the cost of an error is too high. Brand damage, legal liability. Tier number 2 is for your medium risk content. Content that is important, has visibility, but the stakes are lower than for tier number 1. And tier number 3 is for your low risk, low visibility content. Internal documentation, user-generated content. For this kind of content, you run it fully through the AI, and then you can do like some spot checks, which is optional. In the QR code on the screen, if anyone is interested, you can download a copy of this framework and you can see how to implement it in a localization workflow. But basically, what's key about this is that it is yours to customize based on your industry, based on your brand, based on your tolerance for risk. And now, let's connect this to local visibility, right? So, what drives local visibility? According to research conducted by Weglot this year, where they analyzed over 1.3 million AI citations, websites that are translated gain about 3 times more visibility than untranslated sites. Basically, this means that multilingual content generates more opportunities for AIs to cite your brand, for search engines to cite your brand. How does it work? This is the visibility wheel. Step number 1, localized content. So you localize your content for the market you're targeting. This opens new markets. Number 2, This localized content makes it more likely for AI and search engines to cite your browse. In exchange, this leads to more traffic and more engagement. Basically, users are interacting more with your content. Next, this sends authority signals. And these authority signals make it more likely that your content will be cited again. So it becomes a loop. Localized content leads to more visibility, and more visibility leads to more authority. Two things to keep in mind. Number one, local relevance. Super simple example. Someone wanting to buy this piece of clothing in the US would type for buy sweater. In the US, they would type, in the US, they would type for buy sweater. In Australia, for example, buy jumper. Same product, same language, different way of searching. The same happens across markets. A Spanish speaker in the US would type comprar suéter, and in Spain, comprar jersey. This is a very basic example of keyword research, but also the intent changes from market to market. The reason behind a search changes from market to market. And next, local authority. This is more important than ever. Three things to keep in mind. Create local content. Content that searches the queries people are having in those local markets. Next, reputation signals, reviews, testimonials in local sites. And finally, authority signals, citations, mentions from local sites. Authority has to be built for each market you want to target. And remember, what's good for users is good for SEO and GEO. This hasn't changed. The fundamentals haven't changed. If you create content that genuinely connects with people in their language, in their context, AI and search engines will reward you. So, super quick implementation framework. Number one, assign AI ownership. Someone has to decide when it's okay to use AI, when it may be dangerous. Number two, tier your content. Not all of your content has the same importance. Number three, create workflows. Define where humans are needed and where they're not. Fourth, work on local visibility. Create local content. Work on your local authority. And number five, start small, do some tests, pilot, and then move on to other languages, to other markets. So we've come to the end of the presentation. I can't believe I said that in 15 minutes. But if anyone has any questions, either now or later, I'll be happy to answer them. And thank you so much for your attention. And on that example, because a lot of multi-language, it's getting better that where the AI is recognizing the image with the language, you get better relevance. Are you seeing that also? I mean, I know that was like a year ago or a year and a half ago. But what I'm seeing is that picking up background and the relevance of the sentences around it to be able to make that content more relevant and not have to translate like in Brooklyn. Or are you seeing that getting better? Definitely, yes. A lot of investment is going to AI trainings, and now each time they can understand more things in the context. So yes, audiovisual, text translations, everything is advancing really good. So the results are each time better. Another thing is that the results oftentimes change in the language. The models are trained more in one language than in others. So these aspects also can impact the result.
There are some questions for me? No? Okay, what? Will you be around?
I will, yeah, for sure.
Thanks a lot again.
Thank you. Thank you.